It is almost 12:30. Is it the will of councillors to have a break for lunch, 12:30 to 1, or would you rather try to complete the agenda, which is relatively brief? Can I just get a sense?
Keep going.
Keep going.
12:30 to 2, Chair.
Sorry?
12:30 to 2.
Lunch?
Lunch?
No. Thank you, Councillor. You've been very disruptive today.
Oh, having a bit of a...
He was even worse at the cricket
What
last
did you
night.
have for breakfast?
Item number 11, budget to conduct by-elections. Can I ask
Happy to move,
Marguerite
Mr. Chair.
and Katie to come forward? It's pretty straightforward, but we've got 3 by-elections, obviously. One to replace the vacancy created by Josephine Bartley's elevation to this body, one to replace the sad loss of local member Denise Yates, and one for the loss of a member of the Birkenhead Licensing Trust. Marguerite, you might like to talk briefly to it.
Your Worship, councillors, that's the 3rd time you've read a report of this sort this term. So this will be up to 7 by-elections by then.
Wow.
Unfortunately, we have no other choice but to conduct those elections. I just wanted to make a note for the Birkenhead Licensing Trust that this is a by-election that we need to run by legislation, but they reimburse us for the cost. Councillor Claw has asked me to add a recommendation to note that fact, so I have added.
Great minds, I was going to do that.
I've added the second recommendation there for you. Apart from that, I'm happy to answer any questions.
Great. Well, it's been moved formally by Councillor Wayne Walker. I'll second it pro forma. We'll just take questions first. Councillor Simpson.
Dare I ask how much have by-elections cost the council this term so far with these?
So with these, I don't have the exact figure with me, but will be in the vicinity of $500,000. I can calculate the exact
Look, they are what
cost
they
for
are.
you.
Price of democracy.
That's right. We have to. Any further questions? Any further comment? If not, I'll put the motion. All those in favour, please say aye.
Aye.
The contrary, no. Carried. The next item on the agenda is item 12. Submission on Ngāi Ki Tamaki Claims Settlement Bill. Can I ask John Hutton to come to the table? This was done under a delegation. The submission date was January the 19th. I didn't think you wanted a special governing body meeting. I'll move accordingly. I've got a second to Councillor Cooper.
I think Councillor Clow moved
We'll
it,
ask
but it's okay.
John to speak to the paper briefly. I think it's pretty straightforward.
The paper simply informs the governing body of the decision that was made to put this submission in. This is a pattern we're trying to maintain with treaty settlement legislation in the Auckland Council area, which is that the council makes a submission to the Māori Affairs Committee, irrespective of whether we want changes to the bill or not. In this instance, we don't want any changes. There is nothing in the bill that is causing us any issue. We do bring to the attention of the committee the specific areas of redress, and this is particularly down in the Franklin district with the Hunua Falls site that we are directly involved in the council, and otherwise we make some supporting statements about the bill. Happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, John. Just an amendment. It's been moved by Councillor Clow. He beat me to the call. Any questions from councillors? Any comments from question, Councillor Lee.
Thank you. Could I ask, in terms of the regional parkland, Crown-owned regional parkland we're talking about in the Hunuas, I just, given this is going to Parliament and there's a lot of new members, the history of this area may not, and the subtleties of the land-owning relationship to the treaty, etc., may not be well understood. I think it's important to emphasise that the land in question, though it's in the regional park system, is actually Crown-owned. I believe it was used to be called the Cashmore Block. That is the Hihi o Rapa, Urapa. Am I right in saying that?
I can't confirm whether it was formerly the Cashmore block, but no, this is Crown land.
It is Crown land. I believe it is. It was purchased in the 90s, actually, by the Crown, by the then Forest Heritage Fund, with support from the Auckland Regional Council and the Manukau City Council. But decisions taken at that time, because it was led by DOC, the land came under the ownership of the Crown. I think it's important to signal that in regard to treaty settlements, land that is owned by the council is not enabled to be used as treaty settlements, but Crown land can. I think we need to just emphasise that. Otherwise, there may be some confusion or expectations that a regional parkland is able to be settled as part of a treaty settlement processes, enabled to be transferred as part of treaty settlement processes. Could that be done?
Through you, Mr. Chair. I'm not too sure if it's required in this instance. We've always, as council, been very clear with the Crown that council-owned land is not available in treaty settlements, and it's not Crown policy at all to use council or, in fact, any private land in treaty settlements. Here, the subtlety is that
if there just could be the word Crown-owned in Hihi o Rapa Urupa, that would just make it clear.
Again, through you, Mr. Chair, I apologise. The submission has been made, so this
already been made too late.
Yeah.
It'll be too
However,
late.
you've had the chance to make the point, councillor, which I think is a fair one. Okay, any other comment? If not, I'll put that motion. All those in favour, please say aye.
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 To the contrary, no. Carried.